Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. We all get a little bit bored with photography sometimes, and if you're starting to feel like that, just go out and have a little bit of fun and get creative with your shutter speeds on your camera. So I first plotted up on this digger, this machine here, moving around a bit. I've got F11, 1/60th of a second. He's spinning. Let's wait for his full spin. I need to go to F8, 1/60th. Here we go, spinning around. Just as he did in the dirt. Let's go to 1/30th. And then compensate my aperture to F11. And wait for him to do the same again. And we'll just see what the different speeds do. I've got to be very careful, very steady on my hands. 1/30th. Let's go to 1/15th. And I compensate again to F16. Not interested in the dirt so much, just the thing spinning. Here we go. Hope I held that right. So 1/60th. 1/30th and 1/15th of a second. Now it's not often that I use shutter speeds to their full potential. More often than not, especially on these modern cameras, I'm using the camera in aperture priority mode. So I select the aperture and the camera selects the shutter speed for me. That's okay, as long as I don't want to get creative in any way, or the light isn't going to push me down to the sort of 1/10th of a second. Normally on a day like this, I could be shooting around with a 400 speed film, aperture priority, f16, and the camera's probably going to give me around about 1/25th or 200th of a second. That's fine for what I need to be doing. And it's nice to get a little bit of motion inside your photographs. It just shows a little bit of depth, a bit of life into the photographs that you're taking, especially on street photography. I can plot up, get my background, get my composition, and just get ready to take a picture. But I've got to make sure that I can hold the camera really well and really steady for the speeds that I'm going to be shooting. I'm going to be trying 1/60th, 1/30th and 1/15th of a second and see how that comes out. So that was a digger. This time I'm on a street corner, not that I'm accustomed to hanging around on street corners, especially at night. Let's get some cars coming around this corner. I'll get low down as well. The first shot's going to be 1/60th of a second, just like before. There's one, that was a black car. Let's go to 1/30th. Oh, I missed that. That was a little moped, that would have been cool. Royal Mail van, 1/30th of a second. Let's go to 1/15th. I do obviously have tripods for these cameras, and if you're going to be doing long exposures such as seascapes, etc., you're going to need a tripod. But for this sort of photography, I feel confident that I can hold this camera at the slowest of 1/15th of a second and just hold my breath and try and get the shot in. 1/60th, 1/30th shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to mill around, do some different scenarios, choosing 3 different shutter speeds, 1/30th, 1/60th, 1/30th and 1/15th, and see how they come out. For this, I'm going to be using a roll of AGFA APX. This is expired film from 2010. That was kindly sent to me, a brick of this stuff. So and it's been frozen. I've already tested it. It's pretty good, works pretty well, so I don't really need to compensate at all. And one of the other things when you're doing exposures like this, you want to make sure that you're not going to be using a faster speed than 100 really. Today is a little bit of an overcast day, so that's not too bad. But I've got 100 speed film inside here, and I'm going to be shooting around about F8, F11, F16 and still being able to get my shutter speeds in the camera without overexposing. If I was using a 400 speed film, it'd be a bit more tricky, especially on a sunny day. So we'll try some more people walking shots. Nice little scene here, little street scene. As long as I can keep the camera straight, hopefully all the buildings and stuff will be in focus and sharp, and the people moving will be in motion, I think. So there's one area of photography that's really fun and enjoyable to do, especially if you're in the right moment or place, and that's panning cars or panning cycles or panning anything fast. So you've got the background kind of blurry motion like they do on Formula 1 tracks and stuff, you know, when they pan the cars as they're going past. That's all about timing, as long as practice as well. Some people can do it really well. I don't often do this, and when I have done it, I've done it on digital racetracks, so I've really managed to get some practice in before I start getting the shots. But I'm going to try this again at 1/60th, 1/30th and 1/15th, panning cars, and see how they come out. 1/60th. 1/30th. 1/15th. Let's see how they come out. The thing is I like about this sort of photography, it gets the old gets the creative juices flowing, you know. You could spend the whole day just sitting around waiting or coming out with some sort of idea, whatever it might be, for slow shutter speeds, and then practice it. And then once you start practicing it, get a little bit more used to it. Even if you've got digital, you don't have to waste film. You can practice it on digital, and if you want to shoot film, shoot film. But these slow shutter speeds, you know, really does give motion in your photographs. Even if you're taking pictures of someone working, I don't know, what metal work or whatever, or a hairdresser. They're working, their hands are moving. As long as you can keep everything steady in the shot, such as the sinks and the seats and everything else, you can see the hairdresser clipping, and you can see the slight motion in his hands as you look at the photograph, and it just shows a little bit of life in the print, a little bit of life in the photograph, you know. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit blurry, it just shows, you know, it could be stroking a dog, for example. Take a picture of someone stroking the dog. They're totally in focus, everything else is, but their hand where they're stroking the dog is moving slightly, so you can see the affection that that guy or that person has got with that dog. If that makes sense? I don't know. This might be fun. Hovercraft just about to launch itself into the sea. Start off at 1/60th. I need to work on this one quick. See if we can get this. It went far quicker than I could shoot. Oh, I should have gone over there. Off it goes. And of course there's also water as well, so I've come down to the water's edge to do exactly the same thing. The light hasn't changed. I've been quite lucky. If, say for example, it was a sunny day and I wanted to do this, I'd need to put a neutral density filter on front of the lens. This is a 10-stop ND filter, which enables me to do long exposures in conditions like this. So with my Canon CS camera, a 10-stop ND filter that I put on there, and a light meter, I should be able to get good long exposures on film. But you could try water if you don't live near the sea. You've got lakes or ponds or rivers, even water at home. You know, doing splash photography in a fish tank or whatever. It's all trial and error. But I guess it just takes sometimes, if you get a little bit bored with photography, you know, just try something else. Just go out and play with the shutter speeds and see what you enjoy. 1/60th f/16. Just wait for a little ripple. Got to really hold this camera steady on my knees. 1. .1/30th, I'm getting wet feet. There you go. Oh. You can also try some landscape long exposures pans. So this landscape behind me here, I'm just going to literally pan across the sea, across the ocean. See how that comes out. Let's do a pan at 60th of a second. Just practicing where I'm going, using my hips and motion to do it. Done. That was 1/60th. Let's try 1/30th. One more at 15th of a second. Wow. This is great. I just focused in, so yeah, just wait for that wind to pick up. I'll take 3 shots. It's not, just move, there you go, that's 1. You're very kind, thank you. Here comes the second one with that wind. 2 and one more. Oh, there's a wind. 3, thank you very much, cheers. No, I just practice photography, so I've just come out to do some motion work, which is anything moving, which will showing the picture as blurry. Hopefully. But I was just walking back from the sea and I saw your coat flapping and I thought, oh, that would be ideal. But then
so you have a
and then you zipped it up.
slow exposure.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly, yeah.
That's interesting because people usually go for the fast exposure.
They do, to freeze the motion.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's exactly the point. Is
I was really keen on cameras and stuff until it went digital, and then
yeah, sure.
I don't know. Waiting for your prints to come back was
Right.
the excitement of it somewhere. Now
this is film, so I don't know what I'm going to get.
Is it?
Yeah, this is film, not digital. So I don't know what I'm going to get until I get back and develop.
Oh, yeah.
So, and as you say, that's the fascination of it, you know.
Because you don't know what you've got. And,
Yeah.
And sometimes it all fails miserably, and you get a couple in a roll of 36.
So as I was coming back from the rocks there, I saw this woman trying to put her coat on, and the coat was flapping around in the wind. So I just, by the time I got there, she'd put it on. So I just asked if she could take it off again, and she did. Bless her. I don't know how they've come out. That's what the guy was saying about, you know, he said, that guy was just talking about photography, and he said he used to shoot a lot of photography, then digital came out and he lost interest. He said there's something marvellous about processing or getting your prints back and seeing what photographs you took, which I kind of agree, well, I do agree with. I ain't got a clue what's in here, so when I get back I'm actually looking forward to it. If this was digital, I'd be looking at the back screen, oh, hang on a minute, Pfft. Get what you get. Might get 1 or 2 decent ones. I reckon most of them are probably naff, but we'll see. Another favourite of mine, it works especially well with flash, is when you're on a slower shutter and you twist the camera and kind of skew if the image, you know. Let's try it on these scooters. 1/60th. The light's dropped again, good. Try and whip the camera around in a half arc. Don't know how that'll look. 1/30th of a second. Oh, I can't do this properly. This takes a lot of practice. 1/15th. See how that comes out. That panning circular motion shots I just took remind me of an album cover by Oasis years ago. I can't remember, Don't Believe the Truth, maybe it was. I can't remember the album now. And I actually wrote to the photographer, I can't remember who he was either. And I asked him, was that a happy accident? He said no, it was done on purpose. So I can only assume that he just twisted the camera slightly to get the album cover photograph of the band. Pretty cool. So that was a roll of film exposed using slow shutter speeds. Some photos are okay and some are total rubbish, but that's all down to settling yourself into an area and practicing. I wasn't too keen on the 60th speeds. I didn't see a great deal of motion, unlike the 1/30ths, which I felt would be best for me. It just gave the images a little bit more life and more to the imagination. At 1/15th it was a touch and go, as long as I could keep the camera still, but even then I think there was too much motion for people walking. But saying all that, it depends on the speeds that your subjects are travelling at the time, and I guess that all comes down to knowledge and practice. So next time you feel bored with your photography, go out and have a play with the shutter speeds handheld and see where it takes you. Thanks for watching guys, I'll catch you next time.